there everyone, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm starting a series of making ephemera for my next journal, and my journal, I'm actually making a couple, are going to be in these antique writing folders. You'll see the other one later in this video, and they're going to be of a French theme, and I'm going to be using papers by the Paper Cameo called Isabelle and Isabelle 2. For example, this is the papers. They're in such lovely, I think these are from Isabelle 2, such lovely colours. So yep, so stick with me over the coming weeks, and today I'm going to show you how I made this little pocket here with this fixed on paper clip that isn't through to the back there. This is a bag, glassine bag. There isn't even a paper clip inside there, so I'll show you how to do that, how I made lined the envelope and got the letter inside it, looking vintage too, antique. So stick with me, and I hope you enjoy the video. Thank you so much for watching. So I have two of these. They're both different, but both serve the same purpose. It's antique, and it is a writing folder. So you would write your letter, and then this here is blotting paper. So you would then blot the ink onto this blotting paper. So I'm going to convert both of these books into journals, and I'm using paper from the Paper Cameo called Isabelle. There's Isabelle and Isabelle 2. So I'm going to be making ephemera, so I'm going to do a little series of making ephemera, and this is what I've chosen to use today. So this is a large glassine bag that I've printed onto. There's the front. This is paper from the Paper Cameo, and the back is plain but coffee dyed. So the front was coffee dyed as well. You can see these little dots on there. That's what's added to the antique look. Now I'm going to add it to a page as like a flip in, like that. So these are going to have to be pretty big pages, because these, I think the other blotters are slightly smaller. These are almost 9 inches by 11¼ inches. So they're going to be a decent size journal, but they're going to be absolutely beautiful. So this is what I'm going to use. So I've printed that. This is some more that I printed from the same Isabelle. Well, everything's from the Isabelle or Isabelle 2. This is some more I printed. That's gorgeous, isn't it? Now it did tear, so I just torn, rather than throw it away, I've torn across. And that piece is 8 by almost 8, so it's almost square. And then I've got here, I think this is a no, it isn't Basildon band, I thought it was. This is an envelope which I've coffee dyed, and is decorative enough to use within the pocket for this style of journal. So without further ado, let's have a look what we're going to do. I'm currently working as well on some altered art, and this is a little fairy I'm using as inspiration for my altered art too. I could show you that another time. So let's get on with this. So what I did first of all, I want the pocket here on this side, and I was contemplating, am I going to have it as a one that can flip in and out, but I'm not. I'm going to have it as a fixed pocket. So I folded down the middle. It's my bone folder. So this is now 4 inches, and then this is the book, so I want this to be inside, then it's less risk of falling out. So I folded from the corner there in the middle and folded down that central line. And it gave me this. And then I'm going to strengthen this pocket because it is vintage paper, this, and I just fold it up to that point. So I'm going to stitch across there. So this now gives me a pocket of just under 6 inches. And that is going to just fix nicely onto there, fully fixed on. I'm going to stitch around, I'm going to stitch across. And then this envelope, which I decided was plenty decorative enough, because the paper behind is so decorative, will just fit into there, and I will put something in it. So the first thing I'm going to go and do is I'm just going to go and blanket stitch around the edge of this pocket, and I'm going to do a fancy stitch across, and job will be a good one. So I'll be back shortly. In fact, before I go and stitch, I am going to glue down this bit here. This should be included in the stitching across, but it'll just help just to sort of tack it down with some dry glue. In fact, I'm just going to run a bit of dry glue on there as well. There we go. Right, so now I will go and stitch. So this is now stitched around, and it does look really pretty. It's lovely paper. So I'm going to fasten that in there. As I was stitching this blanket stitch round, I realised that if I'd have stitched it all the way up there, I wouldn't have been able to fit my envelope in. So I've left this side open so the envelope will easily slide in and out of there. But what I've decided is I want to line. I'm not going to decorate the outside because I think it is decorative enough for this journal, but I do want to line inside. So I've got some tracing paper which I've dyed with avocado. I've been using it in another project. This is left over, so I'm going to line this envelope with this. So to do that, I've opened up my envelope, and I am going to use some 3-in-1, not 3-in-1, I'm lying to you. I'm going to use some Elmer's glue, school glue, and let's just coat this paper. Ooh, got a bit too much on there. Coat this envelope, and we can stick the avocado stain tracing paper onto it and stitch it right around the edge, and then reassemble the envelope. And I just thought it'd give it some extra sturdiness plus an extra element of prettiness inside. Do you know, I've got my microphone on today. I've forgotten about it. I've got a new microphone. I forgot to put it on. I'll start to remember to put it on. Right, let's just get the tracing paper. So this is the top, and this is the main bit that you're going to see. So I'm actually just going to put the tracing paper. Didn't need to go all over with it, did I? And if I go all over, it gives it in, it's like equal, isn't it? Yes. So it has an equal feel all over. Let's stick that on. I do like to, you know, try and make a sturdiness. That's on there. And so that will dry really, really quickly. And all we need to do then is cut this out carefully. Very, very carefully. And then I'm just going to blanket stitch again all around the edge. So once I have blanket stitched, cut out and blanket stitched, I'll bring you back. Okay, so there's the pocket. here's my envelope. I've stitched around, well, all around the edge, but I also, using the guidelines of the pocket of the envelope, I've stitched around the front part of the envelope too, so we're going to get that effect. Right, so this will go like that, and then that is the top part, or actually that will go like, no, that will go like that, and that's the top part. So let's just glue down these little bits. Let's just fold. Looks really pretty with that avocado stained paper, and it's giving it a nice texture and a little crispiness. Once this glue dries, you'll hear that crispiness just a little bit more. So let's just pull out the big guns and just use fabric tack on here. Just go round the edge. There. And bring that over and just fasten that down. There we go. And like I say, I feel that I don't need to decorate this anymore. That this, with the papers that are in this journal, as I go more into the journal and reveal the papers, you'll see why. Because they are quite decorative pieces, and therefore the ephemera, I don't feel needs to be as decorative. So we've got that, we've got the pocket. Now I've also got a rusted paper clip. This is one that I rusted, it's a large one. And when I rust, I spray with this crystal clear, Rust-Oleum crystal clear, seals and protects. And therefore, when you slide your papers in and out of it, it doesn't leave that rusty mark. See, I can do that quite confidently, knowing that rusty mark isn't going to be left. So I can either put this on this way, or do I want to put it on that way? I think I will put it on the smaller way. Yep, I'm going to put it on like that. So I'm actually going to fasten that page onto there with the paper clip fastened down. I could use a hidden paper clip, but I just feel that it would cover up this. So let's just use an ordinary paper clip. So I've got some masking tape just to help keep this paper clip in place. Let's just use a little bit of glue too. And pop some masking tape on. Because this is going to be, oh, that is so annoying when that happens. When it tears like that, slanted, very, very annoying. Do you know, it's beautiful, beautiful spring day today. It's one of those days to get out into the countryside all wrapped up and go for a lovely walk. Had it not, keep hailstoning. But every couple of hours today we've had a real sheet of hailstone come down. Right, that just helped to keep that in place there. Then what I'm going to do is get my glue, my Elmer's PVA glue, school glue, and just paste over the back of that, all the way over. Yeah, it's blustery, it's cold, but when you are in the sunshine, it feels quite warm, especially if you're inside in the sunshine, like sat in your conservatory with the sun shining through, or sat next to a window. My daughter and I nipped to the shop this morning because it's my other daughter's baby shower tomorrow, so Olivia and I just nipped out to the shop. Oh, now I'm thinking, should I put it on this side? No. So my daughter and I just nipped out to the supermarket actually to buy some bits and pieces. and we were sort of wrapped up, but we haven't got any coats on because it was so sunny. And the minute we got to the supermarket, boy oh boy, did it hailstorm. Absolutely, and they were painful hailstorms. They actually did hurt you. So yeah, out for a nice walk if you're prepared to get attacked by hailstorms every once in a while. That's there. That will go. See, very nice. It's turned out. That will go in here, and I'm going to do it with the coffee side out there, so we can all see that. And actually, that paper clip there acts as a hidden paper clip in here for just popping this in. Feels like there's a bit of glue on there. There is. So this will go in here like that. That's good. So that paper clip just helps there. Yeah, it's concealed at the back. So now I want something just to go into there. I'll be back shortly. So I've chosen an antique chocolate advertisement card. You see it's die cut out. It's actually textured. You can feel the flowers. These flowers around the edge raised. These are flat. And on the back, written in French, is all about this particular chocolate. So I got these from eBay. Let's just pop that in there. As you can see, there's no rust. Because I sprayed it with the protection, there's no rust going on to there. And that just slightly overlaps. And I think that that is enough. I need to put something in there. I know exactly what I'm going to put in. So here we have a letter written in French that I got from the internet. So that's what I'm going to put in the envelope. Just to show you, this is the whole piece of paper from this pocket. It's beautiful, isn't it? And I printed that on the vintage line paper. Right, so let's put the letter inside of there. First of all, let's just make it look old. I'm going to do a little bit of tearing. Now I find when you tear, it's easier to tear off the large pieces than to try and tear off a thin bit. So I've got a little bit of a border here on this paper. So I'm just going to put that onto there and I'm going to tear. Did you get a peek there with the other side? Yes, this is avocado stained paper. Isn't it beautiful? Avocado dyed. I love this effect here. This is one of the papers that I did recently. Yeah, I've bought a book. I really recommend this. It's called Wild Colour by Jenny Dean. And inside, I mean, it's about dyeing fabrics because I'm going to start dyeing textiles. However, it gives you the different plants: apple, mahonia, walnut, juniper, St. John's wort, hibiscus, and down the side the colour palette that you can get from these plants. And then it tells you the dyeing procedure. So I'm going to have a go throughout the summer at not only dyeing fabrics with some of these plants, but dyeing papers. I have a little bit of garden at the side of my craft room, which all the plants died in it. I died in it over the winter. We put new plants in last summer, and they all died off in the winter. Yes, I know, very sad. It's not tearing as well as I was expecting it to. But it doesn't really matter because it's old, it's supposed to look old, so uneven edges are fine. I'm not getting it, am I? Come on, Sharon. Yeah, so I'm in where all the plants died in the locker that Milby built last year, the area Milby built. I'm going to have like a dyeing garden, so everything I've planted in it is can be used for dyeing fabrics and papers. So up to now I've got some yarrow in there, and I've got my little blueberry bush. I'm really pleased with them. I've ordered some hibiscus. So I'm going to get my own little dyeing garden going. So I'm just going round the edge here now with some vintage photo. I do prefer to do this on the glass board. However, it's in the sink soaking because it got a little bit saturated with glue. So it's having a soak off. Right, I'll come back shortly. Okay, so I've just done a little bit of inking around the edge of my envelope too. Here's the letter. Let's just zoom out a tiny bit so you can get the whole thing. There you go. So I have inked it on both sides of the folds. So let's just fold this up now. I mean, you could actually do this with a wax seal on itself there, and you'd have like 18th century style letter. It's really thick paper that I've printed it on as well. And whoops, it's not quite going in the envelope. I thought I'd folded it in exactly the right place. Just move it over. So with it being dyed on avocado paper, it looks really good again with the avocado dyed tracing paper. You could put a seal on there if you wanted to, but I'm okay. And I am just going to pop that in there. So that is my first piece of ephemera for my next journal, and I think that looks really good. So thank you for joining me, and please remember to hit that subscribe button if you like what you've seen, and that'll be amazing. Thank you so much.